and welcome to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. This Dresden Files story, Delivery, was written and run by your GM, Tom. And now, please enjoy episode 77, titled, Answer the Question.
Before we start our session tonight, we have just a tiny bit of feedback, and I would like to apologize to Landris Gembar on Twitter, who posted something a while ago, and I had forgotten that KO10 even had a Twitter account, and just checked it recently. And Landris, he posted a couple things mentioning our podcast on Twitter, including it in his post, saying that he was listening to KO10 podcast and thinking he should do more looking into the Dresden Files, especially any books that they're based on. So he's apparently enjoying our podcast enough to mention it, and we appreciate that, and we thank him.
Yes, very much so. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, really. I promise to check the feed much more often now. The other thing I found, which was slightly humorous, was that the last episode we put out was about the battle at the Hannah Theater. And I posted on Facebook, which automatically gets mirrored out on Twitter. And the Hannah Theater picked up that and blasted it across all of their Twitter feed to their listeners and followers for the Hannah Theater, saying that they should check it out. Yeah.
Did we have a bump in listenership this week?
Was there a little bot that just kind of...
I think so. They have an automatic bot that says, ooh, someone mentioned Hannah, let's because it was, I said Hannah Theater specifically, and it was picked up and reblasted out, and probably the majority of the people that follow the Hannah Twitter were...
are not World of Darkness or Dresden players, probably.
Role players, I would think. But that was humorous.
Who knows, maybe someday we'll give a live
performance on the Hannah
stage.
Well, we can't because it was burned down and there's a big hole in the wall.
Babs, what's this interesting podcast that just came across? I don't know, Chet.
Wouldn't think that's our typical listeners. But anyways, thought it was humorous and that I'd share that.
Good stuff.
Thanks,
Any other?
Thanks, Hannah Theater.
Yeah. Any other feedback? Or is that
that's it. We did have a couple people rate on iTunes, but they didn't leave a review, so I can't tell who it is. But thank you for those 5 stars.
Oh, it doesn't even leave their name?
No, it's they can rate how many stars they want, but unless they leave an actual review, I don't know who it is.
All right.
But,
well, were they good ratings?
Yeah, they were all 5 stars. So
wow.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, anonymous people.
We should try to make it a point to name all our...
That's right. We should see how many Twitter feeds we can get
out. Just think of something... Name brand.
I did
have a... Call it the McDonald's. We'll have something on McDonald's in the McDonald's episode.
Starbucks.
3 million downloads this week.
I did have a conversation with someone on Facebook who said that when we designed Cleveland, we should have mentioned the fact that it's the rock and roll.
It's true. Rock
Cleveland
and roll
rocks. Didn't even come up in our Cleveland creation. Not at all. Wasn't even mentioned.
It's because it's not really a big thing.
Because it's not really a big thing here in Cleveland.
No, because when they have the inductions, it's in New York.
Yeah,
this year they're having it in Cleveland. Amazingly.
Almost every 4-5 years or something.
Yeah,
like that.
They throw us a bone.
Yeah.
Thanks, New York.
Well, it was a weird shaped building right by the water, so maybe
it could be the focal point.
Actually, I went there and it was a pretty enviable time.
I've never been there. I've gone to the Science Center right next door.
I was very reluctant to go.
No. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Could have had a dead rock star vibe to it.
Yeah, I was not interested at all in going, but I went there and actually had a pretty decent time.
All right, and with that, we'll get on to the adventure. We are playing the Dresden Files Delivery case file. I'm Tom, your GM, and starting on my left is...
John, playing Roberto Martinez, Guardian of Cleveland, empowered by a fallen angel.
Scott, playing London Deals, an amoral seer to the supernatural.
Mike, playing Alan Montgomery, the new warden in town.
And Thomas, playing Maxwell Edison, the undercover FBI agent.
We are missing this week Jim, who plays Edmund. He is
Kung Fu Vampire.
The Kung Fu Vampire. He's helping his son pack for his trip out to college in Chicago. So good luck to his son.
Yes.
And we'll see you shortly. Maybe next week, Jim.
Where we left off, we had just exited the Hannah Theater after setting it on fire and...
busting all through the wall and carrying 2 prisoners.
Would perhaps Edmund take those prisoners into custody and take it to the supernatural holding cell that I'm sure we have conveniently located in the Cleveland area.
Edmund mentioned last time that we played, he had an interrogation room with sun lamps to keep the Blackport vampires at bay, and I have no problem with that.
So that's what we use then to make a quick trip back there. I say I told you so in several different flowery ways to let them know that I told them so. Yeah, what did we learn from that?
Listen to London?
That if you go into trap
Yes.
prepared,
That's
you take
exactly what we
several
learned.
prisoners and learn lots of information.
Or continue on, ignore the Easter eggs, and head on to the main quest and find the actual gold that we're looking for, gentlemen. It almost cost some lives.
They're alive.
It was pretty bloody there for a second until I came in and rained some
Save the day.
London action down on them.
Okay, if we remember correctly,
Yeah, Ryan Nelson.
we have Ryan Nelson, the nerd with the heart of gold.
No.
With you?
Just the nerd. Well, isn't he going to the holding cell? Can't we
Yeah,
get
sorry.
rid of him?
Well, if Ryan is still awake, I ask him.
You don't ask standing in the middle of the street with bodies in your trunk, do you?
I thought we were hustling him over to Edmund's car.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You're
Right.
going to Edmund's place
Right.
of business, taking him up the freight elevator?
Sure. Something I don't understand, and I don't want, because we clearly have a goal, and I don't want to go against London again. But the vampires who set him up as bait in this area, did they already have him? Was he picked up on his way to the Hannah Theater? What do you know?
Where
Did
you
know it?
you're not asking him in the street.
No, because there's ears in the street.
So you're going to Edmund's place of business.
Then we're going the opposite way that we have to go, right? All right, I'll talk to you later. We're putting you on ice as well for your protection.
Wait,
Right?
you have Edmund, you have a unconscious Blackport vampire, you have the friend of Megan, also.
I thought we killed him.
Crispy Bruce didn't die.
Crispy Bruce, I thought that was the whole point. Did we kill him?
No.
I don't think we killed him.
We did everything but kill him.
We
I
did
thought
everything
Roberto
but kill
had
him.
the option of killing him and chose not to.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
So you have two Blackport vampires, one from each faction, and you have
We nuked the
Brian.
Hannah Theater, but we didn't kill him.
There's too much information here to pass up.
Okay.
So are you really sending him off with a slightly comatose Jim back to his place of business?
We have to once again digress.
Are you making that call, London? Because I don't want to hear about it later.
Well, I think that there is too much information here to pass up on the larger scheme of what's happening within this imbroglio that we now find ourselves immersed in.
Shit.
What?
Roglio, wow.
Hey, I look up fancy words so I can say them during
As London.
London's time on stage.
Roberto is riding with Edmund, I'm guessing, because Roberto is your...
London is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And actually, he was with Maxwell. Maxwell and Roberto came. Remember, they went to pay a debt, and then they came to meet us. You, me, and Mr. Shadowski, Edmund, were in a car together.
So they're not here.
They are here.
All right.
Two
So,
cars.
Maxwell, you go with Edmund to help him with the...
Prisoners.
And we'll take Ryan.
All right.
And how are you
Private
transporting
eye.
him back to Jim's place of establishment? You're putting him in the dark trunk and closing it?
No. That looks like we murdered them.
Not to mention that
I
you
think
may
that-
open it to just a pile
They
of
just,
steam.
I think they can just dump both of them into the back seat.
I'm assuming the windows are shaded, probably illegally.
You really want to take them out of direct sunlight?
I crippled this man so that he couldn't recover until he was out
And
of
this is
direct sunlight.
Cleveland. We don't have direct sunlight.
Never. In November? Never. These appear to be modified Blackport vampires. Sunlight does nothing but take their power away. If you're putting them in a dark place, you're giving them their power back.
We'll put them in the back seat. They're unconscious.
You make sure they stay unconscious.
Well, one of these two make sure that they stay unconscious. We'll have Jim drive, because it is his vehicle. Myself and the warden will sit on either side of Ryan in the back seat, so that he's in the middle and has no chance to dive out a door or do anything else stupid that he might do.
Nothing happens on the drive back. He's got a parking garage and he's got an elevator that you can use where it's not conspicuous the fact that you're hauling up two unconscious and one semi-conscious
No, just the
individual.
same.
Okay, do we need to roll anything about getting him... Well, once we're inside the building and out of prying eyes, we're also out of sunlight, so do we need to...
Jim does indeed have a room set up that has sun lamps. With
UV
potentially
lights,
UV
all
lighting
that.
for instance. He has dealt with these types of characters before, more than you would.
I need to talk to Jim a lot more. He seems to be much more equipped to handle these kind of things. than I would have
Unfortunately, he
expected.
doesn't have multiple rooms of this type, which means that they're both set up in one room. restrained in some sense, but
They hate each other. They were.
Who's the best interviewer among the three of us in Guinness in here?
Ryan is set up in a conference room with only one exit, someone on the door.
Well, we're not interviewing the vampires right now. We're just trying to put them on ice.
Right.
But we probably want to get a little information out of Ryan and keep him here in protected custody under my authority as a warden of Cleveland, which I'm not sure if I have that power, but I'm going to assume I do until told otherwise.
Works for me. Who's the best interviewer among the four of
I'm pretty
us?
sure the police don't
Depends.
recognize you.
What's that?
It depends.
What kind of skill are you talking? Empathy?
Since he's involved in the parent and I'm the local warden.
Well,
I'm going
Ryan
to
probably doesn't
my-
need to be intimidated right off the bat. I think empathy would probably be the best way to
Speaking
go.
of a bat,
I'm the best at empathy, I think. I mean, what's your empathy?
Oh, no, I've got one. I'm not good at it.
I have 4. Great empathy.
Well, then I believe that Maxwell needs to do this interview,
Okay.
unless anyone has.
Just to point out, too, in the concept of like the new sheriff in town, like in the Old West, the sheriff kind of would dictate law as he saw fit. He was the only representative of law. So in the case of Ryan, yes, Ryan is a citizen of Cleveland and all sorts of laws apply to him, but he's also the dude that's the leader of the local paranet. And that, of course, I'm like, that's where I'm ready to try to exert my authority. And
I see.
So
So you could be in the room with Maxwell interviewing.
okay.
and sometimes, you know,
You can.
I know I'm kind of bashing the lines of the boundaries of what my jurisdiction or my powers are, but I need to do what I have to do.
I think that it might be a good idea for Roberto to be in the room as well, just in case the interview turns a little bit decidedly dark. He has the intimidate skill to a high degree.
No problem. And I'll do like the silent, stern, threatening person because he
Or you can
probably
make up.
recognizes based on my cloak and my sword who the hell I am,
Okay, works for me.
or at least what I represent.
So we grab an interview room, which is the nice word for the interrogation room.
All right, so Ryan is set up.
Yeah.
He's sitting kind of at a table by himself. There's relatively bright lighting. He's got a pitcher of water there, a glass. The room is sparsely furnished other than a big round table with a phone in the center of the desk. Looks more like for conference calls. A few paintings on the wall and huge glass windows that overlook the city of Cleveland. Public square, in fact. Day is slightly overcast, although every now and then the sun peeks through. Right now it's a little bit sunny, but there are gray clouds about. And he looks up as you enter the room. Thanks for saving me, guys. I appreciate it.
What do we want to know? What information do we need to know that we think he knows?
Why was captured?
Let's assume you
Who
guys
used him as bait?
You guys spend a few minutes outside the room discussing your tactic before you go.
Yes.
Standing in front of him and just, what are we doing? It's not the way to go.
Basically, when I find out who used him as bait, and also what happened at Bay Village with Sarah Lemons.
Well, we know for sure that she contacted him about her child because she didn't want to go to the hospital, and he suggested Leela, midwife.
Why did she want that?
Yeah, he's the leader of the paranet. Why was he involved in this? You know, what was special about Sarah's daughter that all this?
Well, it's a changeling.
I know we know that, but I would just
But
want to
does
know
he
his
know?
role.
Okay.
Why would these vampires have an interest in Sarah Lemon's child? What have they got in this at all?
I don't know if he knows
Well, he's
Doesn't
very
hurt to
scared
ask.
about something.
What does he think the threat is? What was after him?
vampires.
But why?
That's
What we know right now, they don't really have any involvement in this at all, except that we've seen them around, so whether they do.
Yep. So what's the deal with the child? Why is it so important? I don't know if you know any of this.
Well, he should. He's the one who set up
Leela.
Sarah with Leela.
Is there any Leela?
Leela
Leela's
was the
dead.
midwife. She's dead.
Oh,
Okay. Is that it?
for now.
We walk in, presumably.
You walk into the room, and Ryan is sitting there. He's drinking a glass of water, looking nervous, sweating a bit. He looks nervously at all three of you. You actually have your sword out.
Nope.
Prominent.
It's not.
Pointed
Yeah, no, that's.
Well, I mean, did you like throw back the cloak a bit, so you can see the sword?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got my regalia on.
Well, you said it was a cloak that was like a duster.
Right.
Ryan looks about nervously at all three of you.
Couldn't imagine why. Nelson, we're gonna ask you some questions so we can solve this.
Track down.
Yeah.
Where's Edmund? I said I would talk to Edmund.
Edmund's indisposed at the moment.
He got hurt pretty bad trying to save your life.
Took a few blows to the head.
Nice scowl.
Yeah. Guess that doesn't work on the podcast. I give him the Maloik, the stink eye.
I'm his assistant. I've worked under him for some time, and he's more than willing to let me take over such important investigations. So, if you could, answer the questions to the best of your ability, maybe we can wrap this case up sooner.
He takes a drink of water.
Answer the questions!
We haven't asked any.
I thought you did.
No.
That was bad.
I just set him up.
Sorry. Slap him. Answer the question.
What question?
I didn't say ask a question. Answer it, bitch.
Do what I say. Don't talk back to me.
We're a little curious. Why did these vampires use you as bait?
Were you a captive beforehand?
Basically, do you know who they are? Do you know these vampires? Do you know who they are?
Do you know why they're after you?
I told Edmund that I didn't feel safe and that I knew people were trying to get me killed.
And on your way to this meeting, you were captured?
The meeting was set up only
Minutes ago.
minutes.
I didn't even get half a street from where I was hiding before they were on me.
Were they tapping your phone? Did they hear the conversation that they knew to set up such a...
I don't know.
I think it's safe to say he's not a very good sneak. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
Did they say anything before we showed up at the Hannah Theater? You have to give us some information. Anything you heard, anything you saw could help us.
Everything I do and everything I say gets me more and more in trouble.
Slap him.
You're with the good guys. We're here to help you and all some empathy.
Okay, yeah.
The more information you give us, the better the situation will get.
You talked to those vampires real nice. Maybe he needs a smack.
Then smack him. Wait until
Or I
I
can say like
empathy at
this.
him.
Do you know who we are?
No.
Do you know who
any of them?
Okay. Do you know who I am? Can you take a guess? Leader of the Paranet. The cloak, the sword. Do you remember seeing what we did to the vampires at the Hannah Theater?
Yeah.
Right. So it is in our power to protect you,
Or hurt me.
or not protect you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
All right.
kind of sounds like you're threatening me.
Not at all. I'm
He
simply,
looks like he's close to tears.
I'm simply presenting to make sure that we understand you were used as bait to lure us to the Hannah Theater because we wanted to talk to you about something else.
That's not my fault. I didn't even want to go there. I told him I didn't want to go there. I told him it wasn't safe.
And what did they say?
I want to talk to Edmund.
Edmund is wounded from trying to save you, and he's being treated right now. Now's the time for us to talk. I'm not doing this very well, so, please jump in when you're ready.
He's looking like he's going to stay quiet until he talks to Edmund. Unless...
Yeah, I'm gonna need some
Convince him.
empathy.
Well,
Is that not something we can do?
Edmund's not here.
I don't know how these things go. Couldn't we have driven him?
Well, he is here, but Jim isn't.
He's busy. Maybe he's dealing with those guys from the clinic or something. I'm sure there's a reason that Edmund cannot come.
He owns a company. He's got stuff to do.
It seems like you're treading water here, Ryan. Real deep water.
So you're threatening him again. It's not
I'm
gonna...
not threatening him. I'm simply
You guys are
stating.
going to have to overcome his
Yeah,
reluctance.
I'm
All right.
trying to figure out how to do that. I could just roll empathy, and I'm sure it would help, but I need to say something.
No, you've been arguing that you are the one keeping them safe and that you're the good guys. So I don't have a problem with you making an empathy roll now.
Okay. I'll
To
just...
convey how strong your argument has been.
Okay. I rolled -1, which is poor. My empathy is great. Those average out to a good empathy roll.
Okay, he's going to lose conviction. He actually got a fair result.
So, a total of average damage to his...
Yeah, 1 point of damage.
Okay.
I mean, you say you work for Edmund. I get that. You do. But he's the one that said he wanted me here. He's the one that said he could protect me. Now I'm supposed to believe that you can protect?
We just pulled you out of the fire, literally.
You saw us kill creatures with our bear... Oh, wait, that was it.
Are you not in the safe house? Is this not safe enough for you?
Oh, so I could leave then. I can get up and walk away right now.
Would you be safe if you got up and walked away right now?
Yes, you could. You know what happened last time? You want that to happen again?
When the morning started, I wasn't in trouble. You guys got involved, I'm in trouble.
Wait.
No, you were in trouble.
You're lying now.
You were in trouble. The second you walked out, they were on you. They knew you were there.
You believe that was because you made a
Fires on your
call?
phone.
I walked out of there because of you guys.
They were gonna storm in there 5 minutes later anyway. They knew exactly where you were. They picked you up the second you left. There's no way they could have picked you up that fast unless they knew where you were.
You've been running scared since Leela died.
Ooh, now he sounds like a detective.
Give me another roll.
Who makes that wrong?
Can I do anything to contribute to this?
That was a piercing question, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in an intimidating state.
Ooh.
I only have a fair intimidation, so that makes it, that's a +1 on the fudge, so that is a good intimidation.
His actual result was terrible, so he just crumbles with the mention of Leela and breaks into tears. It's my fault she's dead.
Really, what happened?
Oh. Oh.
It's okay.
No, it's all.
I
So-
understand. Get him a soda. You want a soda? You look like you need a soda. Have a soda.
caffeine. But he does collapse, and you take him out of the scene, as it were, by mechanics.
Jesus.
So that he's willing to tell you anything you want. And he tells you that it's his fault that Leela's dead, that he thought she'd be able to help, and he didn't know how much trouble they were in dragging her into it.
Do you know what this whole mess is? Do you know why she needed a midwife? Why couldn't she go to the hospital is the underlying question here.
She was afraid that she was trying to be steered into the clinic. The doctor she had before died mysteriously, and she didn't want to go to the clinic. She didn't trust the clinic.
Do you know what was so special about Janice?
Have you seen the child?
No.
No.
He got kidnapped.
The child's missing.
Yeah, I thought so.
Why would you think so?
Because that's what they were asking me about.
They being who?
The vampires.
The vampires.
Which vampires?
The ones that...
The one that were there. Crispy Bruce showed up later. It was, I don't know who the other guy is. I don't even think we gave him a fake name.
The child is special.
How so?
She's Chimera.
Oh, yeah.
She's Chimera.
That was me.
She is an amalgamation of two or more different creatures or entities.
Twins in the womb.
Ate each other?
Is that what they call it, Chimera now?
Several things are. That's one of them. Mythological.
Get a head of a lion, a goat, and a snake.
No,
Shoot
Chimera.
fire.
It's a medical condition in which there are two twins in the womb. Often one twin will die and disappear. It is absorbed by the other twin. In this case, that's not what happens. They actually meld together, and the child will typically have two different colored eyes. The child will often have blood types.
Two different
types.
And actually two different kinds of DNA.
Do we know all this? Does he explain all this?
This is what he's explaining.
Okay.
One person with a foothold in two different worlds. I can see where this is. Oh, Janice, get it two sides. Huh.
So what does that mean? I mean...
I don't know what that means. I know...
Do you know who attacked her?
You're the leader of the Paranet. You're probably a huge bookworm. You didn't bother to look up something like this that has happened before?
I know chimeras in general are very, very powerful in magic. They have the power of two souls. They're twice.
I need names.
Whose name?
To these vampires. First of all, she was afraid. You said she was afraid of the clinic. Anyone in particular at the clinic?
Who do you think at the clinic? We know who's in charge of the clinic.
The first doctor she was suggested to visit was at the clinic, and after that, I don't know the name, but she told me that anybody else she contacted would refuse to see her, and they kept trying to refer her back there, and she didn't want anything to do with them. So she went with the midwife instead. She wanted to do it where she felt more in control.
Do you know anything about the attack on her house?
I know, it was horrendous.
Okay.
Was Bill involved prior to this? Had he contacted you or Sarah?
Well,
You can't trust Bill.
We don't trust Bill.
We don't? I was just wondering if he was involved.
why do you say that?
He looks at you concerned because you seem angry.
I'm simply asking a simple...
No!
Why do you say that? He's been untrustworthy the last 6 months, maybe longer.
What happened 6 months ago?
I don't know.
Why is he untrustworthy then? You don't know what he did.
What has he done?
He's been
Well,
violent,
okay,
he's been
but-
moody, he's been possible to talk to.
Well,
When did Megan get turned into a vampire? Did you drum up any information on when Megan turned into a vampire?
I see this.
I don't think we even had her name before we
Right.
Well, we got her boyfriend.
Crispy Bruce.
you know that Bill's daughter is now a vampire.
She was there. She ran. Didn't fight her, because she certainly didn't fight us.
No, I did not. If she's Blackport, then they don't last 6 months. The new ones.
What do you mean new ones?
The new ones that can walk around in the daylight.
The new ones that can walk around in the daylight.
Daywalkers.
Does that really not mean anything to you?
It does mean something to me.
They burn up quick.
Did they
say
burn
they
out
burn-
quick because people kill them?
No, they just
Fall to
burn
pieces? Which faction is Megan with? The university or the clinic?
I don't think she's the clinic.
No, she's not the clinic, because these guys, we assume, are for the clinic, because they kidnapped the baby, kidnapped Ryan.
How do we know they're of the same faction? That the ones who stole the baby are the ones who abducted Ryan? Both of them had an interest, otherwise Megan wouldn't have attacked.
You're right. I don't think the ones who stole the baby and the ones who stole Ryan are the same group.
And we don't know the ones who attacked the house were vampires at all.
They would just be working with the ones that are against the Megan.
You know who can answer these questions really well
Crispy Bruce.
is... Okay, yeah, those. But I was
Bill.
going to say... Bill.
Bill can answer these questions really well.
Oh,
Do we have
where he
anything more
was.
to ask, Ryan?
Oh, wait.
I can't think of anything I'm going to talk to this guy about.
Give him a bunk. Just leave him for now.
Because I suggest you stay here, have a sandwich, do some...
This is your safe house? Edmund said you had a safe house. I can hide it.
We have a few safe
Here,
houses.
you're in it.
No,
His
there's
office? How clever.
No one would expect
I don't like your
that.
tone, sir.
It's retarded.
I thought his office was in a separate building.
No, this is his building.
He has the safe house and the office in the same
No.
building.
And he has a holding cell in here, so this isn't...
He has a holding cell, but
He has a real safe house somewhere else.
It was close to the
Just a couple blocks away from the theater.
Vienna Theater, and we were just gonna walk over there or drive him or something.
drive
Anyway, why didn't we go there? I wonder.
because
The
we
holding cell.
needed to drop off
You
these
didn't have a
guys in the
UV
holding
cell
cell.
there.
Okay.
This place is safe, Maxwell.
Maxwell and Roberto can stay here and interrogate the vampires whilst you two track down Will for some answers.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go find and talk to Bill.
And
I'm not a fan of...
Nelson.
Ryan.
I don't like Ryan. I don't like you. I think you look funny.
You trust funny?
You dress funny. You cost me time and money. And if it's not for us, you would have been bled dry already. So I want you to have a little more appreciation for us protecting you. I don't like your job, and you and I have unfinished business.
I'm not done pitching at you.
I find you to be rude, sir, and unappreciative. I storm out of the room.
Alright, you guys are going to go interview...
Bill.
Well, you guys are going to
Yeah,
find
Bruce.
Bill. You guys are going to interview
Yes.
Bruce.
Let them find people first.
So we'll let you guys leave.
We leave.
You're going in whose vehicle?
Ed's.
I take Ed's keys.
He's got a nicer vehicle than Roberto does.
Can you drive?
Are you gonna drop him off at the safe house?
Sure. I'll be happy to.
Edmund gives you directions to where the safe house is.
And a warden is enough to make up for your missing bodyguard?
Yes.
Okay.
What I need from you guys is a driving roll. It's a short distance, but you're rolling to see if you are spotting anybody trailing you.
Okay. When you don't have a skill specifically defined, is it just a...
Zero.
Zero? Alright. Hey, check that out. Positive 2 on the fudge, so that makes it a fair driving skill.
Not bad.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, you were not followed on the way here.
Of course not. All right, we drop off
You
douche
made the
nozzle,
car look like a...
and we...
He tells you that Edmund took his phone.
I'm sure Ivan will return it.
Well, I mean,
Your phone you probably don't want right now because it's probably traceable.
which is why Edmund took his phone. But then, what? You know, I'm hungry.
Go on, get some food.
You're the one who wanted
So
freedom.
I can leave this house?
It's a safe house. If you leave it, you're no longer safe. I'm sure the safe house is stacked with a refrigerator full of
And it is.
Frozen delights.
probably some kind of purified water and ramen noodles. So I think you'll be fine for a short time until we find a safer place for you.
You were abducted by blackboard vampires this morning, and all you can think about is your stomach.
Well, no, I mean,
People have died and bled for you. Sit down, and maybe we'll bring you back a sandwich from Wendy's.
All right, so then we start heading east,
After I
following the
join
beacon of my
your father's.
broken compass, which
My epic
indelibly leads eastward.
It does indeed. While you guys leave, you guys simply are walking to another room. So, what is it you attempting to do in this other room?
We're gonna interrogate Mr. Bruce.
Is he awake?
You have two vampires sitting in the room. Both of them are either unconscious or feigning it. Both
Punch
of them
him
are
awake.
strapped to a cot on opposite ends of the room,
I don't think your empathy
It
will
is
be
a
much
bright
use to a
room.
vampire.
with UV lighting up in the ceiling, flooding the entire room.
I'll be all like, don't want to hurt you, Bruce. Set up an aspect and you punch him in the face.
It is also a soundproof room.
You think if we turn off the lights and then wake up, they'll talk to each other and tell us their plans?
No, they hate each other. I think they'll attempt to kill each other.
Oh.
And also they'll be able to break free of their bindings.
You make it sound like pillow talk.
That is a really bad line.
You know what we're gonna do when we get a hold of that guy?
I'm restraining myself. You enter first. Alright.
Well, what do we do with them? They're in the same room.
Keep
I
one
think
strap
they'll be
down.
less than willing to talk about their plans. Because there's
I
two
don't
enemies in the
know.
room.
Oh, what do you want me to do,
I
Roberto?
don't know.
There's no other holding cell. I'll cover him with
Break
a
out the
blanket.
thumbtacks or something. They're vampires, they're not people.
I don't have torture equipment. I'm a cop. Well, kind
This is a
of.
strong room thing. Check the cupboards. Anyway, I walk in.
Okay. It's a bare room. Surely there are nothing but 2 cots in here and very bright lighting. Painfully bright lighting.
I'll walk in.
Okay. Door is padded, can only be opened from the outside. Edmund has an assistant there.
Is there one-way glass or something?
Bruce first to nameless man.
Bruce, he's got a name.
Okay.
They give you a signal to give when you want to get back out, and if you indicate you want to get out, do not give this signal, we will not do it.
Because, mind control with the lights on.
God, we don't know. They're
Might be dust.
Blackboard, whatever.
Alright, we go wheeling on Bruce to wake him up.
okay. Slap him around the face.
Does he
dead.
then wake up, or is he dead?
Bruce.
Slap him in his crispy face.
No, he's.
Alright, which one is he from? He's from Megan's crew?
Megan's crew. Because they're dating, and there's only 2 of
Yeah,
them.
let's find out why they knew they were there and what they wanted from Ryan. I demand to know how he found out that Ryan was there.
He spits in your face. Fuck you.
Really?
Really?
Oh, well, I guess you're never getting out. Okay, what's left to break?
He's got a very beat up face and
Off iron face.
a burned face as well. He has very severe burns on his face.
He was mean with it.
That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, well.
I don't think I'll be able to talk very much then. Alright, I put my thumb in his eye. This is a fist? He doesn't really have a defense.
No, he doesn't. It's 0. Wiggle his face around, but that is not effective.
Oh, he's so good at wiggling. I don't even have a fist skill. This was a poor attempt.
Seriously, a -1? He feels
Yeah.
better.
You brute! Get the comfy chair!
As an interrogation process, this so far has not been successful. You guys, being Allan and London, you get towards the clinic and the needle starts to swing and point at it as you pass by. It starts to swing in the opposite direction. As you drive around the block, you narrow it down. There's
Is it a particular part of the clinic building?
It's not the main clinic building. It's one street to the east. It's a medical building, but it is definitely clinic property.
How do you want to approach this? Do you want to go in?
Is it possible, if we're this close, we might be able to do a little triangulation? See if there's a particular building.
Can we triangulate?
Yeah,
sure.
just by driving around the building, you know it is in this building. And as you come around and are on the same side of the street as the building, and London kind of leans out farther, and it's an upper floor. It seems not only in this direction, but it's pointing up. And there are
And this is one
probably about 15 or 16 floors. It's not pointing to the roof. It seems to be somewhere in the...
Is it in the bed tower?
Third,
is it in the
fourth
admin
floor?
building? Or is it in the surgeries or the staff rooms? Looking at the buildings, I guess we wouldn't really know that.
Yeah, you would. I mean, you've got some indication of... I mean,
So what is this building? It's an administration building?
Yes.
What time is it?
it is now roughly 2 p.m., afternoonish.
So do you want to go in as doctors or as administrators?
Are you talking about magic?
Yes.
I don't think you can walk into a hospital using magic.
Likely it is.
It's an administration building.
No, there's nothing
They have
electronic.
computers. I mean, no, I'm saying they have computers and stuff, but it's not like it's major medical
we have
equipment.
our.
Doesn't Fairy Magic not do that?
Fairy magic doesn't.
We have the ability to try to
Very
suppress it, though. Correct?
Yes.
Unless we decide to let loose or amp it up.
You have the ability to try to tap it down. But his ring is fairy magic. And his ring is what allows him to cast
Right.
seemings.
So I think we'll be fine. Again,
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not that-
doctors
okay,
or
okay.
administrators.
Bill Donovan clones.
Doctors. Visiting doctors.
2
All right.
Bill Donovans walking in. What the?
My role was great. So we have on the white coats, name badges.
Okay, do you see this as something you would have to do twice? Once for each of
As long as
these?
they hold
Sure.
hands, they should be fine.
Otherwise...
So as long as you hold hands, you should be fine. Sorry.
Not holding hands. Mine is great. His is good.
You did that on purpose.
You guys do your seeming, you step out of the car, you start walking up to the building. Like most buildings of this type has a swipe card into the building. As luck would have it, as you're walking up, someone is walking towards the door.
We casually fall in at the same, a couple strides behind them.
Oh no, somebody's coming out. So they step
I see.
out of the door, you grab it to hold it for them and usher them
Right.
in, and you can walk in.
Smooth.
With a nod, appreciation.
We're back to you guys. his roll was mediocre. Your character...
I can't
Well,
say
see,
what I
this
was
is
gonna
this is
say.
really kind of sick because he is in human mode because that means he does not have his vampiric protection. His 3 is taken, so that means you've done 3 damage. Which rolls up to a mild, which is taken, which rolls up to a medium, which is taken. So it rolls the damage all the way up to
Severe.
But not extreme, though.
Not extreme. So he screams.
Well, that was just holding on by the retina. I mean,
Well, lucky we didn't do any more damage. I would have been.
I was gonna say we don't want to hurt you, but I really can't say that anymore. We nearly put his eye out.
You really can't. You just took him up to severe damage, blind in one eye.
Look, Bruce, which isn't your name. What is your... No, I'm calling you Bruce. Look, Bruce, we don't want to kill you. That's not what we came here for. We would have done it at the theater.
I don't need to tell you that took him out of the scene. He is ready to tell you virtually any fucking thing you want to just blinded one of his eyes nearly permanently.
Took it out like a candy and ate it. You barbarian.
We don't even need the other guy now. Just keep sleeping.
This guy will tell you everything the other guy knows as well.
The other guy's scared of pistols.
We can... No, I'll tell you!
he was faking sleeping, but then he's like, oh,
Holy shit, these guys are nuts!
We can handle it next day. They can do their thing.
Oh, you want to think about your questions before you... Okay. We can then...
That and our situation would take a lot longer with intricate questions, and theirs could also take long, and we don't need to take long because we just won.
Plus, who knows if Edmund probably staggers back to say, okay, now...
What the fuck did you do to that prisoner? Torture is illegal.
So you guys walk in down in the hallway and you are at an elevator.
I have infiltration and I have presence. 2 things that skills that I have.
I would like you...
I mean, infiltration is, burglary, which is infiltration, which we are trying to infiltrate this building in a way. Infiltrate to me means not just remain unseen, but to kind of look the part.
Right. I think any infiltration, confidence people
and the
there.
presence would be like,
Absolutely
what are you
important.
talking about? Yeah, I have business here.
Well, meanwhile, I really can only use maybe alertness to try to squeeze in a justification for...
I have to follow this compass. Can you get on your iPhone and look up what is in this administration building?
He does not have an iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
If he has any phone, it's one of those backpack ones that the Army have that you got to...
Right.
However, I am looking around to see...
Well, wouldn't Fritzby wasn't doing anything, would it?
Anytime he does magic, it's
Right, any time, but I mean, I just want him to look something up on a...
Yeah, but
on
if
a-
he was holding his iPhone... and
Wizards don't know about
he
the
cast some
internet.
combat magic...
Okay.
They really don't, just because it's not something that works for them.
Okay. In that case, as I'm following the compass, on the other hand, I have my iPhone, and I'm doing a search for the administration building of the Cleveland Clinic, just to add to my presence and my infiltration of, what types of offices are here, what's on different floors, a couple of department heads, things I can actually throw into a conversation with someone who may stop us somewhere along the way, so we can at least answer the questions intelligently and help us bluff our way through.
Okay. In looking at information as you're waiting for the elevator, unfortunately the elevator comes a little quicker than you expect, so you don't have much time. So give me a roll.
Before you say anything, as I'm following him and we're approaching the elevators, there's usually
There's a directory that shows...
Doctor, how many floors up, or what? Do you have any idea what we're looking for here?
Can I?
Yes, it was the 3rd or 4th floor, and looking at the directory, looking at your iPhone and different things, you determine it's most likely the 4th floor.
Okay.
Because
And the 4th floor is?
the administration offices of medical research and the type of people.
Alright, so we head up to the 4th floor.
Does your illusion magic affect people, or does it affect electronics as well?
Yeah,
I think it's
everything.
technology as well.
Okay.
you go up to the 4th floor, and you get out. You notice, you're holding the compass higher and lower, and yeah, you got the right floor. This is definitely it. And you start wandering the halls. You narrow it down to a particular door.
Right, by the way, this compass is not like out like this. I have it in my pocket. I look real quick. I put it back in my pocket just so I don't want people noticing that I'm looking at an old broken compass as I walk down the halls of this administration building.
You narrow it down to a hallway that doesn't have a door. It's pointing at a wall section here. It's definitely on the other side. So you start to wander, and unfortunately along the way you run into somebody who looks at you inquisitively. So I need a roll from you to say, even if it's not saying anything, just look at your clipboard and look at authoritarian, and I have one here.
I'd like to use presence if that's okay. Presence is by definition charisma, command, reputation, social fortitude. I'll use burglary if you prefer, but
No, that's
it
fine.
seems that I'm just trying to carry myself in a manner that would frown upon any interference with my work that I'm obviously doing here. 2 pluses, 1 minus. That is a +1. I have superb, so that turns a superb into a fantastic roll of +6.
And you give off the aura of, I'm one, and leave me alone. I'm
Right.
wrong here. And she's carrying a pot of coffee on a tray with some cups and looks at you inquisitively for a minute. The look you give her just kind of causes her to drop her eyes and continue on her way
Right.
without too much. Although she does give a backward glance as she rounds into an office.
Do we see any familiar names? Like when we came out of the elevators, there's usually sometimes a directory of the offices of whose office what. So do we see any names in particular?
You see a lot of names, but none of them look, not a lot.
There's no like a Rockefeller or
No, yeah, there's no Rockefeller. But you give
Prisoner.
me...
And there's no Donovan.
No Donovan.
or prisoner one.
Give me a alertness, unless you can think of something better, to kind of suss out the layout of the floor plan. It's
Casing?
evident, it's pointing you to a wall, but there's
Right.
got to be an entrance somewhere.
Right, there's an
Is it
entrance
a
that leads
room
around.
off a room,
Right.
and then what's the room that it's off?
I have casing,
Okay, that's fine.
which sounds well. Casing is a sub area of burglary.
It's not a terribly complicated floor plan. I would say you just simply need fair.
Okay, I got superb. I rolled a
Holy cow!
+2.
Look at that.
Look at you.
4 spot.
I got
Wow.
the maximum fudge you could get on 0 skill, so I have a
We have a
great.
great. I have a superb. We both give each other a nod at the door that we know it to be.
I'll never
Yes,
get that roll
and-
again.
That was a 1.6% chance to roll that.
1.2.
On the door is the number 41, and you remember that was Dale Williams' office, and that he was the director of medical research. Give me a context roll.
That's what I do.
I can do a context.
I rolled a.
You haven't been in Cleveland for a while.
My roll
Reflects
is evident reflects that.
I rolled great. I rolled a wash on the fudge dice, and I have great contacts.
I have a
Because I'm
negative-
blinded.
I have a -1 on the fudge dice, which takes my fair down to average.
Certain social events, you remember Dale Williams, you remember him as director of medical research, and that he works directly under Constance Rockefeller.
All right. Do you ever have need of my services, Dale?
No.
Do I know him to be human
Unless you want
or
to, that's
supernatural?
something,
No, I'm not going to throw anything out there
No.
right now. Do I know him to be human or supernatural?
you know him to be human.
To the best of my knowledge. There's a door. He's behind this door, obviously, a little ways back.
Well, it's probably if he's the head, it's probably
It's a sweep.
yeah.
Right. Do you want to handle this diplomatically, or do you want to go in and kick
Start
ass and take some
diplomatically.
names? All right.
I'm still a by the book kind of guy, so if we can handle things non-violently and cleanly,
You hired me. I follow your lead.
please lead on.
All right.
You're doing a good job, Linda. Thank you. Don't fuck up.
I opened the door without knocking.
Okay. A lady, African American, rather slender looking, relatively young, 25-ish, very pretty, looks up at you and says, "Can I help you, doctor?"
Yes, we have a message to pass along to Dale from Constance. It's for his ears only. Is he in by any chance?
Well, I'm afraid Dr. Williams is not in this morning. He is off-site.
Is she aligned?
Empathy is name, but it might be something different.
Feel free to join in on this.
Okay.
Empathy.
I rolled a -1 in my fudge dice. I don't have it, which gave me a poor result.
+1 in my fudge, and my empathy, which is average, goes up to fair.
Do either of us to believe that she's telling the truth? Or do both of us believe she's telling the truth?
You both know you can't tell whether she's telling the truth. Like
Tricky
she-
little minx.
Press your luck.
Oh, that's a shame. Maybe Constance was misinformed. We were also told that we could pass along this information to Mr. Donovan. Would he happen to be in?
I'm sorry, I don't know Mr. Donovan.
That's quite all right, actually. So we can place the envelope then on his desk. I was told not to hand it to anyone but him, but I think if we put it on his desk, that would be all right. I'm a little bit adverse to handing it to you just because of the direct instructions we received from Constance.
I understand that, but Mr. Donovan doesn't like anyone in his office when he's not here.
You said Mr. Donovan.
I did.
You know me!
I suppose that I took off J'accuse!
Oh,
Keep it
so many
in.
names.
You have to keep it in.
Okay, I'll keep it in. I'm sorry, Mr. Williams doesn't like anyone going into his office when he's not here.
Well, we do seem to have a bit of a conundrum, don't we?
You mean this office?
This is my office. That's his office, which is behind me, and no, you cannot go there.
It's called the secretary.
Well, then I'm going to try to overwhelm her with my presence.
Listen, sweetheart.
Yeah, don't wait. Don't. No.
Let's go Mad Men.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm kind of going Mad Men. I'm just not calling her sweetheart. I'm not insulting her. I'm just saying this comes from the highest levels of the clinic. And I'm sorry, I know that you have a job to do, but the job of an administrative assistant is not going to stop us from delivering a very important message that needs to be done. So I try to build her up without totally tearing her down. And
Oh my goodness gracious.
my superb presence went down to good due to a -2. And she says,
I have dealt with Dr. Rockefeller's assistants before, and unfortunately I don't know you that well. So, I cannot permit you to go into his office at this time. As I said, Mr. Williams does not like his office.
I sigh heavily, take out my cell phone. I'll just have to talk to Constance then. And I start dialing the number, trying to use that pressure of she's going to get an earful if she doesn't acquiesce and back down right now. Muttering under my breath about how unfortunate it was to be unemployed when you're just 25 and it's quite difficult. So again, trying to use presence and hoping that I roll something better than I did last time, which is a superb roll. I actually had a wash on my dice, but I have a superb skill in that area.
She looks a little bit nervous and then seems to make a determination and reaches for her phone and turns it towards you. Would you rather use my phone?
Oh, that's all right. She's on speed dial.
Okay.
May I ask a magic question for the game? If I attempt to soul gaze her, can I do that while I am veiled in an illusion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your soul gaze is cut right through the...
Well, to fix the whole problem, I just spend a fate point, and I have information is power. I am supposed to be here. I am on a mission from the head of the clinic herself, and if you still want to remain, employed, you need to just let us go to the back area, please.
Okay.
Which turns it from a superb into a epic.
Her defense was great, which meant that she took 1 social damage from yours, so that she was slightly shaken, but she held her ground. Your increasing it just makes her take 3 damage instead of 1. Does not change.
Doesn't change it to a moderate.
Doesn't change it to any kind of consequences, nor does it take her out of the scene.
Can Alan help me?
I mean, I don't know.
She's a high-paid professional.
I'm not trying to, and again, I wasn't trying to diminish her skills at all.
But I don't know what I can contribute other than to my
plastic surgery doesn't
my
matter.
silent stoic intimidation. I just read up on soul gaze and how it disrupts both people, and it's the kind of thing that would upset her. And
she has to lock eyes with you, and then you both. She knows much more about you than you want her to, and you know much more about her.
Well, if it's for this close to Bill and the thing's pointing, then
I have 1 left.
Well,
You can take the
I really don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I can take it from 3 to 5, which is a moderate would take her out of the scene. NPC, correct or no?
She's pretty much a moot. Any consequence is going to take her out of the scene.
Well, she's got a mild, so not any consequence.
She does not have a mild. 3 stress boxes. This is her profession,
mental.
is to run
If she's
interference.
human, the most she can have is 4.
Right, so if I give her 2 more, then it's
Then it's going to take her into a consequence where she...
I have an end justifies the means. The importance of this message is more important than your, than your previous orders. This supersedes anything that you've been told previously. So I spend another fate point and take it to 5.
That is enough to cause her to stammer and acquire the consequence of flustered for the evening or the
It'll
rest
just be
of the
between
day.
us.
Yes.
You can tell Mr. Williams that you placed it on his desk. It works for everyone then.
Don't touch anything there. He knows where everything is.
Just like we're annoyed at this delay and we're very busy people and just push aside and open the door.
All right.
Actually, she has to.
Close this in. So we head back and we ignore
You enter
Mr.
into
Williams'
a
office.
large office. It's a cherry wood desk, bookshelves line the walls. It's got a wonderful view, which you can't tell because the curtains are closed, but there is certainly no Bill Donovan here.
You look at your equipment as you take the slow walk.
You're looking at the
slow walk
compass and
around.
it's pointing towards the back wall of his office. As if
There's a secret.
there's no door that you can see.
Right. Well, I do have burglary, which helps me to get into places that are supposedly hidden. Casing, infiltration, and lock picking. I don't know if that would be looking for a secret door. Okay, how about this first?
Once you find it, and if it's difficult to open, burglary might apply.
Right. Does the dimensions of this office in the previous reception area
No, there's
match up with the size. So there has to be
no. There was a
beyond here.
considerable hallway that was pointing at
Right.
where Bill was. That there was no door.
Do you have anything that allows you to? Do you have any investigation?
I do have an investigation that I can do.
Can you take a look at this wall? Because, I mean, I will too, but it's not my forte.
low?
I rolled terrible. It confuses me.
I have two ideas.
There should be a door right here.
Will basically set off every alarm in this place, but
Just look for
Alright, I'm going to open the site if you can.
so I just have an average. So that's
knock?
fine. Yeah, knock. That's funny. So
Well, it does. It would allow us to tell. It would also alert.
He could
Mr.
take
Donovan.
more time.
I need alertness from both of you because
He doesn't have more time.
she's coming to the door to check on why you're taking so long to drop a simple envelope off on the desk, and I'm giving you a chance to respond and get into position rather than.
God no, alertness isn't my thing.
huh?
Yeah, I'm totally. I'm looking at this wall, just perplexed. I totally lose it.
My alertness is down to.
Hey, if you have
that's
time.
fair now.
You can make yourselves invisible.
I can.
And then she would go crazy.
Your fair is enough to tie her, which means you hear her click of her heels as she, and the click of the door as she buzzes herself in, and she starts to pull the door, and you move on the other side of the desk, and you're just rearranging the envelope as if.
Oh, I also.
Just putting it. He is sitting on the wall, going, staring,
wanna give me a heads up?
open mouth.
I walk to the window and look out the window and admire the sight.
All right, I need some kind of, and it's going to be at a minus because you were caught flat-footed, and when he's like, she's coming.
What do you want?
More like before, where you were saying you were in the hallway and you're trying to look like you belong there. So
Okay, so presence. I can roll that presence, and wow, I rolled great.
you managed to look like you were just simply admiring the view, even though
Right.
it was at the last second that she.
Right,
You were aware that she was
second, and
coming.
I'm also jotting something down on a piece of paper as if I'm writing him a note, an additional note, as I'm looking out.
Your receptionist is a real bitch.
And what a great place to stop.
And we're going to stop this week.
We'll stop with a cliffhanger there.
Short of physical violence, I don't really have anything I can do to.
We have a vampire with his eye poked out and two guys caught in an office.
Thanks for listening to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. Visit kotnpodcast.com for more information on this and other adventures, where you will find character stats, photos, storytelling props, and even a forum for comments and suggestions. Or you could email us directly at feedback@kotnpodcast.com, or contact us via Twitter or leave a message on Facebook. All music for this podcast was created and performed by Zen Audiosmith. If you'd like custom professional music created for your podcast or business, please visit zenaudiosmith.com. And please join us next episode for more mystery and adventure.
He takes a drink of water.
Answer the questions!
We haven't asked any.
I thought you did.
No,
That was bad.
I just shut him up.
So slap him. Answer the question.
I don't like Ryan. I don't like you. I think you look funny.
You trust funny?
You dress funny. You cost me time and money. And if it's not for us, you would have been bled dry already. So I want you to have a little more appreciation for us protecting you. I don't like your job, and you and I have unfinished business.
I'm not done pitching at you.
I find you to be rude, sir, and unappreciative. I storm out of the room. You rude! Get the comfy chair!